Hey, Gaybros,
Hey, Gaybros, Jose.
where are we today?
I'm actually in what I'm going to start referring to as position 2. Since there are 2 positions I tend to favor in my own. I'm in the newer one, still seeing how I feel in it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that one day you may actually return to position 1, just to shake things up.
I might do it in the middle of this recording, so if there's some shuffling, just...
I don't know if our audience is ready for this, We are very conventional. We recorded 200 episodes in the same location. Well, not 200, but 50 on his location, because I changed multiple times locations. But and I'm still in Chicago. Funny enough, today is raining. We have a very city summer so far. So it's 80 degrees, 85, and then it starts raining.
But is it like that nice, warm, wet weather that you can go sit under an umbrella and have brunch and it just feels cozy?
It's a thunderstorm. They suddenly turn night. No, it's not. You don't want to be having brunch. Sorry. I don't think that we are so, how did you say, such a hardship say a lot believers in the brunch charts for actually doing that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cool. And talking about, I don't know, say a lot is not the best way of putting this, but talking about that, what we watched this time.
So this was my pick, and I picked a completely unknown to me film, and I think unknown to you. You said you hadn't heard of it, or you hadn't seen it. And I knew nothing about it except the Criterion Channel sent me an email and quoted Almodovar, who said, "This is a perfect classic horror film." And I thought that's good enough for me to make Jose watch it. And
I guess
it comes from your country in the 70s, and you have, I think you said you wanted to watch more horror that comes from Spain in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, the thing with Spanish cinema, is I had the feeling that it's between, well, in the whole 70s, as it was the transition, cinema was pretty wild in all of the different spectrums. Is what it was called the age of the destape, of the uncover, and it's that we have lot of gratuitous nakedness at that point, because we couldn't, everything was censored before 75, before Franco died. So from that perspective, it's always a cinema that it can feel a bit too gratuitous, and I always tend to have it in lower esteem than I should.
And you're not speaking specifically about this piece of cinema, no. You're talking about the genre.
In general, in general, cinema on that time, it was weird. It was trying to find their feet, and the other part is that this is very associated with La Movida Madrileña, that it was an underground culture movement that it happened between late 70s to mid 80s. And it was allow sexual liberation, a lot of drugs, music.
I don't want to dive too deep into recent Spanish history, but was there an amount of censorship when the Viridiana came out?
Oh yeah, Viridiana, a lot. Basically, is that they had to fool the Spanish government with a fake script about the movie that they were doing. And when it was released, I think there was in Sitges, and it took 40 years to actually just come to Spain. I don't know if it came towards the end of the dictatorship or after he died, but it was that movie is definitely not something approved by the censorship.
All right, thank you.
No worries. And I love Viridiana. I find it mind-blowing. Yeah, I find it mind-blowing because you couldn't be doing that, or you couldn't be doing this. You couldn't be doing Arrebato before.
You didn't do any of this in America, by the way. Never at any point.
Saving the distances, I would say that maybe a part of this is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
But you never see just a large penis becoming erect slowly.
Is that okay? I have to love that your dogs reacted. Large penis becomes erect.
We all like dick around here, okay?
I can see that. They got excited about that. It's what is the sausage? But yeah, this was your pick, and we can go more about the historical context later. I guess that I had to summarize it. And let's see if I can do a brief summary because it's
Yeah,
2 hours.
Forward to you explaining this because not a lot happens, but a lot happens, and so seeing what you pick out as important is going to be fascinating to me. So good luck.
Yeah, so basically this follows like the story of 2 film directors, one that is like just building or preparing like for the release of his big movie that is called Jose, his first movie, and he becomes friends with another film director, but he likes shooting like in a very amateur kind of way. The story takes place in 79, so it's like the media, there is no digital cameras or anything, everything is like just completely manual, and he's like have like a very man with a camera kind of a style, you know, very observational about like, hey, I'm not following like a story or anything, I'm just like recording things that I find interesting. So they start like some kind of friendship, and then this guy receives like an envelope with like the films that Pedro, the other director, recorded, and he started like just going through a tape that he recorded that he tells him like his obsession with cinema and everything, and the relationship that he had with Jose, the other director, the relationship from the perspective of friendship. That, well, no, they have had sex.
I think everyone had sex with everyone in that film.
In this film, yeah, there was a very, you know, like time. Sex was like, you know, completely normal, and it's still completely normal, but it was like very present, let's just say. The other director, Pedro, lives in a small village outside of Madrid. Jose lives in Madrid, and after interacting a couple of times, Pedro moves to Madrid. He keeps recording, he finds like fascination, everything around him, and he becomes like completely submerged by the Madrid life, until one day he loses his muse and he by accident records himself sleeping, and discovered that in that recording of his sleep there is like a frame in red. So he keeps recording himself sleeping, it becomes like an obsession for him, and that frame becomes like larger and larger until it takes over everything. And after the last night that he gets recorded, spoiler alert, he disappears. So Jose, leaving all of his obsession through the tape recording, he goes to pick up like that last movie that he recorded when he disappears. And he develops like the last picture, he sees like a frame, like inverted, that is all red, and only a frame of him, like inviting him to join him on the other side of the film. And that's pretty much it. It's like a lot of weird stuff happens in here. Pedro has like a power for making people have like raptures, basically, like providing things that they relate and they were special to him, also to them. Like like an album, you know, like with stickers, or like a doll to someone else. They don't develop like that power. Everything is like very surreal.
Yeah, I
don't know what else to say to it. It's like
it sounds like we saw the same film. That's great.
Yeah, good.
And I do think that about halfway through, I feel like the shift was so imperceptible, but like reality stops mattering completely. And so we spend kind of the first half of the film examining what's essentially addictive behavior, right? They're all addicted to heroin. They all are overly sexualized, in my pilgrim American opinion. And 2 of them are particularly obsessed with cinema. And it's interesting because...
But in a different way.
Yeah, because to say like this is about cinema becoming a drug and consuming you is so reductive that you can't even say it out loud, because I feel like there's so much to this film, and I feel like if you were to rewatch it again, you would learn way more. I'm saying like a repeat viewing is probably going to be generous with you.
I would say that I agree on that. Now there is the question if I want to watch it again. Because
let's not go ahead. I want to know if you liked it.
It was hard to watch.
That's true. It was hard for me to watch as well.
Yeah, and it's like knowing the language that they were speaking. When you are speaking like this to sound mysterious for 2 hours, is tiresome. It's like super freaking tiresome because you can barely understand it. We have to put subtitles, and we speak Spanish. It's my native tongue, my native tongue.
No, that's a valid complaint. I was thinking if I just because I was reading the subtitles myself, no.
It's hard to understand, like that's the first part thing, like does it try to make too much of an effort to be coherent, so when it was over, I was like this, like, okay, I get it. Is that the guy probably is addicted to drugs, like the director? And I was reading right now that he was. It's like, and this is a bit more of a reflection of his addiction to heroin, and he used this as a bit of a vehicle for the observation of cinema and how it actually just like consumes you. But all of them are addicted to different things. So at the end, it's about like the rapture feeling of when you are like giving yourself away to any of these kind of addictions, albeit that it's going to be bad for you. Is that the apartment where Pedro lives at the end, and the bed that he has, it screams junkie. It screams like, hey, this guy is, he's addicted to something.
A character sat down on it. I was like, I think that's supposed to be really gross.
Yeah, I know I wouldn't test that, but it's like at the same time, it's a bit more of the scream to the naivety of when they are kids. Is they how they actually have like that rapture of hey, when I was kid, when there was no like all of these kind of additions around me that I gave myself into, is that I felt like a pure bliss. We even see like with Pedro that he has his teddy bear at the end, but the other stuff that is like, what the heck is that gunk? What the heck is that vampire woman, vampiress?
The one from the beginning?
No, the one at the end.
Oh.
Like when Pedro like goes with her, and they take like this guy that it looks like a stray from Tom of Finland with a jockstrap.
I like very quickly went to be like, I'm not understanding. Who can explain this scene to me? And I was like, no, there's no explanation. Nope. They don't even put synopses. I was like, what?
Yep, it's a ride, So from that perspective, it's like I don't know if I like it or not. It's like I just felt like it is an experimental film, and you have to take it as serious. It's not about liking it or not.
It's very experimental. I will say that the images are virtuous. Like the images were so beautiful. They were so intense. My husband really loves photography, not as much in video, but I was like, you have to see this like weird fucking just endless scene of beautiful images that I was reading had some sort of
wait, you're saying that because there was like a flaccid penis becoming erect on the screen?
No, but the scenes just went on, and it would show dead bodies, and then it would show like these beautiful ballerinas filmed in like this grainy Super 8 footage that would these like just endless images, and yes, but it's a beautiful erection.
Yeah, but it's like also is man with a camera. It's like that kind of capture of actually like observing like life around. It's like I just feel like at that point it's like, dude, is that this is like a some kind of reference to the Soviet montage.
Why do you say that?
Because it's that everything that we see from him is a bit more of a, how do you say, imagery diarrhea. It's like a lot of images that is that there is no implicit connection of one to the next. It's like it's a bit more about you like making that kind of connection. The narration is what is giving us like a bit of a, hey, I moved there and I found like everything fascinated, and we see like a lot of random stuff like happening in between. But that was like what the Soviet montage was, that it was a bit more like if you put like images next to each other, is like they're going to have a meaning when they are like connected.
I don't feel like the sort of videography he was doing needs to be anything but beautiful. And there was nothing meaning. In fact, he's constantly talking about how he was like, I reconnected with cinema, and I finally found the patterns that I always knew were there, and I can see patterns that, like, this was just a man going insane. But he started out with something beautiful and then ended up a junkie in a bed letting the camera suck his life away. I think that's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, just feel like maybe I'm more cynical, and maybe at that time it would have been like more amazing. But I had the feeling that it's like, given the historical or the political context, is that this is like an explosion for them that they can express in whatever way they want. They can put like everything that they couldn't, or that they have to be like walking around and then just like making this diarrhea of images. Not in a bad sense, but it's like that being is impossible to even like think about that. The drugs is like impossible. Anything that it was like just like overly sexual is like just completely out of the question, or drugs.
Huh. Interesting.
So I'm not disagreeing with you.
I was just thinking, I was like, well, America is basically the same way, at least with sex, to this day.
Well, just think about like the how they actually shoot the drugs. It's very graphical.
Yeah, like when it comes to drugs, America will show anything. When it comes to violence, you can watch whatever you want as a 10-year-old, but God forbid you see an erection. It'll ruin you for your entire life, and not even in R-rated movies can you show a penis. Like, that's what I mean, is we're still very puritanical about sex.
I don't think that you can see many other erections in Spanish cinema either.
So we just lucked into the best one?
Yeah, probably, yeah. But it's again, I just don't use that right now. It's an interesting time. I'm going to be like political for a second here, but we have elections coming up in Spain. When this podcast goes out, it's like we will know on what kind of country do we live in. If it's like post 1975 or pre 1975. But Almodóvar and other artists in Spain, they actually came out with a message about like, we have to go to vote. In the last month, there have been like multiple kind of like censorships in different cities around like theater plays and movies that they didn't want to have like any official, if it was like a public event that the city hall can't say that it's like, hey, this is okay or not, is that they were like just like cutting back on everything. There was like a Virginia Woolf like theater play that it was censored. There was like the Disney movie Buzz Lightyear, yeah, like the one with the two women like kissing. That is like, dude, it's like this polemic was like 2 years ago, no? I said, why is this happening now? Because they were going to be like playing it in a park, and they were like, no, they are like two women kissing. We don't want that. So it's that they're doing like some strong moves, and that's like why Almodóvar, yeah, like a big regression, And if they win at a federal level, is that this can be like pretty bad. I'm not talking about like no more penis erections. I'm talking like no more, for example, Almodóvar. Is there something like Todo sobre mi madre? Is like that would be impossible to make, because it recognizes the existence of non-straight people, of transsexuals. Is like that's completely impossible.
Wow, that's intense.
Yep, it's intense. What is funny about this movie is that for just like continuing on the idea of what was the cinema during that time, like the actors, Pedro and Jose, the ones that they played, that is that they went to do a couple of the first Almodóvar movies, that they are like more raw. I don't think that they are like penis erections, sorry, but it's that there is some
sexuality or whatever.
Yeah, way more sexuality.
Fun fact, did you notice how the female cousin, had a little bit of a low voice? And I was like, is she supposed to be trans?
Which one, sorry?
It's Marta. It's Pedro's cousin that comes.
Oh, yeah.
He basically just beats up. Pedro Almodóvar dubbed over her entire performance. That's Pedro Almodóvar's voice.
Oh, I knew that he actually... So you're saying Marta Fernandez Muro, Marta?
That's who I thought it was. So the actress is Helena Fernan Gomez.
Oh, but that's like the other one, like the vampire, no?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because when she started talking, I was saying that is like,
why is the voice
is this transgender? It's like, is it what? But you're right. That's a very weird scene. The whole thing.
I can see all of your complaints about this, but I felt like the atmosphere building and the mood was so good and so weird that even though I didn't like being in parts of this world, it was just fascinating as hell. And I don't know that I would like watching it again, but I think I would respect the film. Or not respect, I would just learn more about it and see things that I missed. And he could have definitely cut out 40 minutes, like that scene where Jose and his girlfriend just sing and dance cabaret for like 5 minutes.
God. A movie of 2 hours is like, I couldn't, by choice, I don't like splitting them in 2 days, but it's this one I felt forced for. I can't. I just can't. Is that I'm not, like absorbing this in the right way. It was like super hard for me to watch it.
There's no way you could do that like just on a normal weekday, like work till 6, have dinner, watch a movie, casually go to bed.
Yep. But no, this was not an option. Honestly, it's like after the first hour, it's like, oh my God, there is 1 more hour of this. Okay. Someone I'm out.
That's funny because I did check the time one time and it was right in the middle. I'm guessing it was the same part. We probably got bored and I was like, I can't do another hour of this, but then it got super good for me again.
Yeah, no. For me, it never really got like super good. It always remaining. It should be better. I think that there may be like something here. Is very artsy, very experimental, very like from its time, But also at the same time, I can't. It's like so rough, in all aspects that it's like I can't.
I don't know. I just got like Lost Highway vibes in the best way possible.
Well, probably you actually look over what we were saying about like the quality of the making, of the movie. That you were saying, like for example, like with Primer, is that I can't look over like the budget that it was used for this. For me, it's obvious, and I think that maybe for me the problem is that just being from Spain is like I recognize about like this is super low budget. It's like it's very hard for me to get into this. It's like all of the whispering raspy voice, like the part of if I actually comb my hair back, is like I become like super deep voice, like a different person. It felt like a value version of Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Well, you're wrong because none of this bothered me. And also, I was going into it thinking we were going to have like a horrible original Suspiria experience, which I did not enjoy at all. And there was a lot that I enjoyed about this film, so maybe I was just too forgiving, but I liked it.
Oh, no.
I'm not. Other people watch it.
Okay. I mean, you already made me watch it, so... But I'm not saying that it's bad or anything. It's like for me, it's like it didn't end up clicking. It was more like I see the point. That's what I told you. I told my boyfriend, it's like I see the point. I only wish that it was better.
Yeah, and maybe I liked it so much because it reminded me of Pi and people looking for I'm not joking about this. Like it's kind of that frenetic. Oh my gosh, you're looking for patterns in something where it doesn't exist, and you're gonna lose your mind. No, there was a second movie. I was going to mention Pi because you hate this other movie too, but anyway. There's a lot I liked about it from films that I like that you don't.
Like Persona?
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't even touch upon this. I can see it. I was trying to think, this slow, contemplative, experimental horror this is actually why I'm making you watch what I'm making you watch next, because it's kind of in this same style, which you sent me an article today that was like, hey, this is as good as Persona, which you also didn't like.
I didn't watch Persona.
You've never seen it?
No. I mean, the only... No, the 7 Seal is like the one that it says like, fuck you, Berman. But no, the only one that I watched by him from the beginning to the end, it was Winter's Light, and I liked it. Wow. So...
Coming soon on the podcast.
Persona, spoiler alert.
The 10 episode series on Ingmar Bergman exclusively.
Oh my god, yeah. And 10 of them are going to be about Fanny Alexander, no?
No, that's just episode 10.
10 hours. Yeah, no, I feel... The thing that I was thinking is, there was a time in Spain, the cinema, this type of cinema, that at the end is like, it's Almodovar, this guy, and 2 other directors, it was freaking surreal. Like, super surreal. It was not so much about like making sense, it was like about being out there. You know, is that maybe Wusu was like some of the early stuff from Almodovar, maybe you would like it?
I'm down to try for sure.
Huh?
We should also watch like The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie.
I know that. Really, yeah.
That was
we never watched it
years earlier. We did, I think.
Yeah. Before we started recording, but I'm pretty sure that we watched it. We should watch also what's it called, like The Exterminator Angel?
I don't know that one. I've heard of it, but I know nothing about it.
I thought that we even watched it together.
Well, that probably happened. I don't remember movie names like you do.
Okay, that's fair.
Tell me what...
The Exterminator Angel?
Oh, yeah.
The Exterminating Angel.
Yes.
Exterminating Angel. Also from
yeah, it's kind of like Spain kind of has the corner on this niche, kind of this like absurdist, like surrealist. It's interesting cinema.
No, you're right. Yeah, that may be, but they have. I don't know. A part of me just thinks that they have to come from something else. I don't know what is the influence, because I was trying to think about like when we were watching this Arrebato, I was trying to think is like what is the external influence for this like super bizarre thing. The only one that I can think about, it was Electric Sky. No, there was this movie.
Maybe I'm being a little too obtuse, but like in terms of what I would call the Spanish heritage of this, didn't it all kind of start with art in like the 30s with Picasso, and Cubism started, and Buñuel was doing like paintings as well as cinema, and they were trying to figure out how to fit these new ideas into cinema? No.
Maybe it is. There was a movie that I was like some years ago, and I think that I even told you about it, that it was also, I would try to find it, but it was in New York, and it had like a similar vibe to this. I will try to find it, and I will send you the link. We can just talk about it like the next, like on the side, if you ever like watch it. But you're right, it may actually just be like a bit more of a cultural trend, that it has always been there, like that kind of surrealism, like just like the underlying, that it went like from the paintings to actually like other media. But yeah. Cool. Should we go over the questions?
Let's do it.
Would you watch it again?
I would. Like I would rewatch Irreversible.
I would rewatch Irreversible, but I wouldn't rewatch this.
I know, that's why I'm saying I feel the same way. It's not going to be a pleasant experience, but I think the film has enough to give that I'd be willing to do it again.
But I get the feeling that it's like Irreversible is going to be an unpleasant experience, because you know that it's going to be like very grotesque. It's going to be like gross. It's going to be on your face. It's going to be like a provocateur art. This I just feel like it's going to be confusing and drag and weird.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of people shooting up drugs and having sex with whores, and I mean, this wasn't like a walk down.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
This was also a really gross world to be in.
Yeah, I just mean like for different reasons, I guess. But yeah, you're right. It's like both of the other one feels more coherent, like the story and the narrative that is being presented. Here, I still wonder what the heck is that gang that we see over and over.
I don't think you'll ever get your answer. And I would look for it, but nothing is written about this film in English, so...
Yeah. Maybe we owe this to the audience, that they may actually fall, like just like listening to us, is that it would be great for them to actually just know what the gang is before they approach this film, or after.
Okay.
Would you recommend Arrebato?
Yeah, it would have to be in a delicate situation, or somebody like basically me or you that's like super into cinema, is willing to take some risks, are okay if the movie fails in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm a bit torn because if someone asks me about, I just recommend like a weird Spanish movie, I may remember this. Probably I will go to Buñuel first, as we were saying. But this is weird enough that I may remember. Like the name may come up if someone asks me about like something weird.
So for you, this film is like Las Vegas. Like you hate it, but you have to go one time. And you would tell other people, it's awful. You should see it once.
I don't. First of all, I don't think that it's awful. It's more of I think that there is, as you said, there is a niche. There is actually like a conversation. And sometimes that is like, I cannot picture a conversation where this is like the word that comes out of my mouth. In this case, yeah, I can picture like several conversations where actually the result is me saying Arrebato.
All right. So you write down yes for you.
I did write yes for me. Thank you. Would you remember Arrebato?
It's, how I'm not great at remembering movies anymore, but this one is so ethereal, I'm definitely not going to remember anything about this. Like nothing.
I think that I would only remember, spoiler alert again, but the camera swallowing people.
Yeah, one of the main gimmicks, I'll be like, I think a camera makes everyone disappear.
At the end, yeah. That is like, it's almost... I even like explained it to my boyfriend yesterday, in a way of, it's like the camera became like the recorder. I mean, it's always the recorder, but it's a bit more of the operator, about like, you are observing through the lens, you're capturing everything on the lens, and it's like now the camera is capturing like for good, like from reality. So maybe we'll remember that, but it's like I don't think that the last 10 minutes of the movie is enough for saying that I will remember the whole movie.
That's fair. I didn't understand the last 10 minutes of the movie, so...
Is there anything artistic about it?
Yeah, man. I thought some of the special effects, I was like, I just did that so casually in the late 70s. Like, nothing felt dated at all to me. It was... Yeah, no, there's a lot. And I think the imagery was gorgeous.
Okay. No, that's fair. For me, yeah, I feel like there is artistic stuff in here. There is also like a lot of camp level stuff.
Artsy stuff.
Yeah, but that it didn't materialize as, it fell a bit more on the artsy-fartsy part.
Yeah, that's the term I meant.
Yeah, more than actually it's like, oh, this is artistic. This is not Aronofsky.
That's fair. I will never try to get you to say this is perfect film. I don't feel that way. But like, for this guy to just be like, I'm gonna direct one single movie and never do another movie again, I would have never guessed this was someone's first movie. Like the confidence in the direction, I was like, Jesus, this guy knew exactly what story he wanted to tell. And then he's like, I'm done. I'm never directing again.
Did he die after that?
I don't know, to be honest. Does his last name mean anything, by the way?
No, I think that is just Zulueta, a random last name. Yeah, he died in 2009, 66 years old.
What a pity. Well, I definitely would have liked to have seen a second film.
It can be interesting. I don't know if he did anything.
No, he never did anything else. This was his one movie.
No. Zulueta directed a couple of episodes for 2 different TV serials.
Well, we can watch TV if you want, but...
Oh, wow. Okay. Both were traced by Zulueta's style, visual obsession, circular screenplay format, mixing, film and video, and a fragmented editing which reminded some of David Lynch movies.
I mean, a lot of this film reminded me directly of very specific films of David Lynch. It reminded me a lot of Ingmar Bergman. It reminded me a lot in some points of Stanley Kubrick, but I don't know if I was reaching with that one. But the other ones, you can see there was a clear influence.
Well, I mean, just think that David Lynch had only done Eraserhead at that point.
Yeah, I think this guy influenced David Lynch, is what I'm saying.
What?
I mean, I'm just guessing, but I guarantee you David Lynch was like at some film festival in LA and saw this. And was like, I'm gonna make Lost Highway.
Okay. Let's just put a pin on that. Okay. Do you think that Arrebato is a timeless piece?
I do. It's completely timeless. In fact, even if you wanted to take away whatever comment he had in 1979 and you wanted to make this about social media, it works perfectly. And what? And yes, social media way, then it would just be about addiction and needing things. Yes, I do think it's timeless.
I could say that if you go into what is the underlying topic, yeah, but I also think that it's so soaked into the reality of the moment, into those late 70s, early 80s, of the La Movida Madrileña, that I feel like part of their value, at least for me, like someone from Spain, is I see completely stuck on that time.
But this movie also reminded me a lot about an Antonioni film that we loved called Blow Up. Just because they were using super antiquated photographic equipment, which firmly dates that story in a specific part in time because of the technology that they needed to show on film. I don't think that dates anything.
No. I'm not talking about the technology per se. I'm talking a bit more about what are the values that they are displaying in the movie, because Blow Up, actually, I think that is timely from the perspective that it tries to resonate with what is the reality of that time in the 70s. Is that you see all of those protests on the street, you see counter movements and the likes, that is a bit more of what was happening in society.
Okay, so that makes it timely for you?
Yeah, I mean, in this case, it's stuck in La Movida Madrileña. That is it's a period of time. It's but maybe it's because I know what that was. That's the reason why for me is I understand what is the underlying topic, and that's timeless. But the how it was made, what is displayed on the screen, is this is pretty clear that is a centerpiece of La Movida. Culturally, Could you turn Arrebato into a TV show?
No. Like I said earlier, I would have preferred they cut out 30 or 40 minutes. But no, I would not want to expand this world any further.
Yeah, me neither. I think that is fine. It's 2 hours. Sure. Yeah, no more. I don't need to develop more of the character. Maybe if it was a different director, maybe if the script was more polished, it would have a different kind of energy. And at that point, I think that there is an erect penis outside. Your dogs are getting very excited.
Shelby's where is it?
Yeah. So if it had like a bit more of polish to it, it's true it would have been like a different movie, but maybe I would be like more interested in seeing like other characters going through these raptors. And we didn't even talk about what was the name? Anna? Was the girlfriend? Anna Turner.
The camera was mad at.
Well, but that's Cecilia Roth that we just talk about her in All About My Mother. You know, that it was like a complete different person. Like between the two, because it's true that maybe she was like 20 years old on this, but maybe there was more potential here. But with what I was giving, I don't have a desire of watching more of it.
All right.
Yeah. Could this have been a short?
I don't think so. I think he needed a pretty good amount of time with us to get his points across. All of it, but yes, I felt like most of the scenes were pretty thoughtfully done, even if I didn't think they needed to be there.
I was going to go with yes, but I'm going to change it to no, because I think that at least 1 hour will be needed.
So it doesn't meet the cutoff.
It doesn't mean the cutoff, but it's like it could be reduced like significantly, you know, like in runtime. And now this actually takes us to the last one. Do you think this movie could have been better?
I honestly don't know what I would say. It's not a perfect film. I don't think it's perfect. But there's nothing that's glaring for me. It worked for me on most levels, so I'm just gonna say no.
Okay. For me, I'm going to go with yes. But I also think that if you actually, as I was saying, like you polish the script, you remake it like completely, the result would be a different movie. I don't know what movie it would be, if it would be more enjoyable, if it would be more tolerable, if it would be more engaging. I don't know.
It would have been interesting to give this script to Diablo Cody for some rewrites.
What? I can't. That's an interesting pick.
I was with the script.
When there was like that kind of photo montage, you know, like the video montage that you were saying that is beautiful, I was thinking in Spike Lee. No, Spike Jonze. Spike Jonze. Crap, Spike Jonze and adaptation.
I can't even remember a slideshow and adaptation.
Yeah, when Nicolas Cage starts writing with Charles Combs, they're like, oh my god, and this started, and you see like all of these sequence, like live, death, rebirth, but a super like fast pace. So
6 Feet Under did it really well.
The what?
6 Feet Under did it really well too.
Sure. Fair. But no, I would like to see actually like a Charles Kaufman rewriting this script. Yeah, what I said about how I feel like reality just kind of goes away at some point, Charlie Kaufman would have a field day like that. Well, I mean, it's just like that movie he directed where essentially you start out the film in reality and then you realize you are nowhere in reality. I think of ending things. And it is, yeah. Yeah, spoiler alert.
That was a Netflix movie. If you didn't watch it right when it came out, no one ever goes back to that.
Yeah, the algorithm is not going to be like bringing it up ever. Don't worry. Yeah, it's lost. Yeah. And that's funny. Is there any movie from Netflix, like pure from Netflix, that is still important or relevant?
The only one I could think of, and I didn't even see it because everyone said it was boring. The black and white film by.
Oh, Rome.
Yes.
Rome. It's not in your original. It's quite.
Yes, I know. That's why I wasn't gonna say it because every time I say it, and I'm embarrassed.
I don't know, dude. I had the feeling, but it's a bit more about like how Netflix actually just devours itself. It cannibalizes itself. So it pushes like its own content like away because there has to be like always something new for just like keeping the audience engaged.
I saw some TikToker today who was invited to a big Netflix release party for a huge new film with amazing actors, and I had never heard of it, and I was like, I'm sure it's going to make them their money, and no one will ever hear of this film ever again.
it's fascinating. It's like it has started like all of the industry in such a fast-paced, fast food cycle.
Yeah, it's like H&M for cinema.
Yep. Yeah, it's like this, like the fashion of the week, and then next week there is a new Tiger King.
I wish A24 just had like a monthly subscription program where I could just invest in the best young voices in cinema. Just my $12 a month, I'd be like, bring me another Midsommar, okay?
Young voices like Aronofsky.
Yes, please. Bring me Mother, Part 2.
They can do a Kickstarter like of their own movies. They should actually do that. That is a bit more about like, hey, you pay $500 and you get like a thank you email by Aronofsky and 2 tickets. And you can just sponsor, like do the Kickstarter of the movie that you want. So you can say like,
sell this.
The what? Sorry.
The marketer in my head can sell this.
I'm pretty sure that you can, but it's that you can just suggest, you can have like polls and everything for just like crazy ideas. Like, hey, I want to do like Ari Aster to do like a family drama based on the Looney Tunes.
I mean, that's literally what how they're studying us to this day. They're just not allowing us to vote with our money. So.
That's true. Should we score Arrebato?
I have no idea how to score this. None at all. But
well, this was your pick, so I had to speak it. I got to be fair, so I'm going to be like 6.5.
Oh, we didn't differ that much. I'm going to go with 7.5.
Yeah. I mean, 1 second, it's like, I think that there is something here, but it's like, dude, this is painful to watch.
I'd like to, because of its status as a cult classic, I would like to rewatch it again in like 10 years and see if I see it differently, like I re-saw Donnie Darko differently.
And it's also a cult classic for very different reasons, yeah. I mean, so the next one, as I pick like 2 back-to-back, the next one is your pick. So what are we watching?
Is. And we're going to watch an Ingmar Bergman film because I've been wanting to watch this with you for a long time. And then when I saw this movie and you sent me the article comparing this movie to Persona, I was like, yeah, we're definitely doing it.
So what are we watching?
Oh, sorry. Hour of the Week, Ingmar Bergman.
Okay, because Bergman has like many movies. It's not about like just pick your own Bergman adventure.
I own 39 of them myself.
Okay, cool. Good for you. Just keep it there. So Are the Wolf, yeah. Just to complete the duology with Time of the Wolf, no?
Yeah. And finally, maybe I'll remember which one is named which, because this is the arm.
Okay. You don't have anything else to say about Arrebato?
Nope, I think that's more than enough.
More than enough. Yeah, thank you for your time, Zulueta. And yeah, and to everyone out there listening to us, thank you so much for putting up with us.